Have you ever wondered how one of the smallest places in the world holds influence that stretches across continents, governments, and generations? Today, we're diving into a topic that has fascinated historians, journalists, and conspiracy theorists alike: the Vatican's secret financial empire. Money, power, and hidden scandals. And trust me, what you're about to hear might completely change how you see one of the most powerful institutions in the world. But before we go any further, I want you to stay with me until the very end, because the deeper we go, the more shocking the revelations become. Some of these stories are rarely discussed, and others have been buried for decades. The Vatican is often seen as a spiritual center, a place of faith, tradition, and religious authority. But behind its sacred walls lies a financial system that operates more like a global powerhouse than a religious institution. Over the years, whispers of secret accounts, hidden wealth, and controversial dealings have continued to surface. Now, let's start with the basics. The Vatican is not just a church, it is a sovereign state. This means it has its own governance, laws, and most importantly, financial independence. At the heart of this system is the Vatican Bank, officially known as the Institute for the Works of Religion. Despite its name, it doesn't operate like a typical bank you and I might use. This institution manages billions of dollars in assets. Donations, investments, real estate, and other financial instruments all flow through it. But here's where things get interesting. The Vatican Bank has historically operated with a level of secrecy that has raised eyebrows across the world. Why so secretive? Well, for decades, the Vatican Bank was largely shielded from international financial regulations. This meant fewer audits, less transparency, and limited oversight. While that might sound like a recipe for efficiency, it also opened the door to potential misuse. And misuse is exactly what some investigators believe has happened. There have been multiple scandals involving the Vatican's finances, some involving money laundering, others tied to political influence, and even links to organized crime. These aren't just rumors. In several cases, investigations and court proceedings have revealed troubling patterns. But before we jump into those scandals, let's talk about the scale of the Vatican's wealth. The Vatican owns vast amounts of real estate, not just within its tiny borders, but across the globe. From prime properties in major European cities to investments in international markets, the Church's financial reach extends far beyond what most people imagine. And yet, exact numbers are incredibly difficult to pin down. Why? Because much of the Vatican's wealth is not publicly disclosed. Estimates vary widely, but many experts believe the total assets run into the tens of billions, if not more. Now, here's something to think about. How does a religious institution accumulate such wealth over centuries? Donations play a big role. Millions of believers around the world contribute regularly, whether through offerings, special collections, or direct contributions. But donations alone don't tell the full story. The Vatican is also an investor. It has stakes in companies, financial markets, and industries that might surprise you. Over the years, reports have suggested involvement in sectors ranging from banking and insurance to real estate and even media. And this is where things start to get complicated. Because when faith meets finance, questions arise. Should a religious institution be involved in profit-driven ventures? And if so, how transparent should those operations be? Now let's get into one of the most controversial chapters in the Vatican's financial history. In the late 20th century, a major scandal shook the institution. A banking crisis that exposed questionable transactions and raised serious concerns about accountability. This scandal involved massive debts, mysterious transfers, and individuals who seemed to operate in the shadows. Some of the figures connected to these events met tragic and suspicious ends, adding even more intrigue to the story. And just when people thought that was the peak, more revelations followed in the years ahead. Investigations uncovered accounts that were allegedly used for purposes unrelated to religious work. There were claims of money being moved through complex networks to avoid detection. Now, here's the part that keeps people hooked. Because despite these controversies, the Vatican has remained incredibly resilient. Reforms have been introduced over the years. New regulations, oversight committees, and transparency measures have been put in place. But critics argue that these changes don't go far enough. So the question remains, how much do we really know? And more importantly, how much is still hidden? At this point, if you're finding this as fascinating as I do, make sure you take a moment to like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who loves deep dives like this, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support more content like this. And trust me, we've got more eye-opening topics coming your way. Now, let's continue. Another layer to the story involves influence. Money isn't just about wealth, it's about power. And the Vatican, through its financial network, has historically held significant influence in global affairs. This influence has sometimes intersected with politics, diplomacy, and international relations. While much of this is conducted behind closed doors, there have been instances where financial ties played a role in shaping decisions. And this brings us to a critical point: transparency. In recent years, there has been increasing pressure on the Vatican to open its books and operate with greater accountability. Financial watchdogs, governments, and even members within the church have called for reforms. Some progress has been made. Audits have been introduced. Certain financial practices have been restructured. And there have been efforts to align with international standards. But challenges remain, because changing a system that has been in place for centuries is no easy task. And for every step forward, there are often setbacks. New controversies occasionally emerge, reminding the world that the story is far from over. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Why does this matter? Because the Vatican isn't just any institution. It represents spiritual leadership for over 1 billion people. And with that level of influence comes a responsibility to uphold trust. When financial scandals surface, they don't just impact balance sheets, they affect credibility. And that's why this topic continues to capture global attention. People want answers. They want clarity. And they want to understand how such a powerful institution manages its resources. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of all is the secrecy. What do we not know? What remains hidden behind closed doors, confidential records, and restricted access? These unanswered questions are what keep this story alive. As we move toward the final part of this deep dive, I want you to think about something. If an institution built on faith operates within a system driven by money and power, where do the lines get drawn? And who ensures those lines are respected? The Vatican has taken steps to address its financial challenges. Leadership changes, policy reforms, and increased scrutiny have all played a role in shaping its current direction. But the legacy of past controversies still lingers. And for many observers, the journey toward full transparency is still ongoing. Now, as we wrap this up, let's bring everything together. We've explored the Vatican's financial structure, its vast wealth, the controversies that have surrounded it, and the ongoing efforts to reform and modernize its operations. What we're left with is a complex picture, one that blends faith, finance, power, and secrecy. And perhaps that complexity is what makes this topic so compelling. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about money. It's about trust, accountability, and the intersection of two very different worlds. If you made it this far, you're clearly someone who enjoys uncovering the deeper layers behind global institutions. So don't forget, like this video, comment your thoughts or questions, share it with others who might find it interesting, and subscribe for more in-depth content like this. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones hidden in plain sight.